So for this video, we'll be looking at York, England, a tour through the most medieval city on earth. Now, this is kind of, well, we need to kind of look at York, number one, just because I've been looking at England and UK related content in and of itself for how long now? But number two, also, I've been recommended to take and go to York anyways. I'm trying to take and nail down, start to take and get an idea of where I want to go. I make my journey over to England later this year. So yeah, let's take a look at this, shall we? Now, do me a favor. If you like the video, please go to the original channel. Link is in the description for the original video. Give the channel, show the channel and the original video some love. Looks like they got really good content on there. So yeah, let's get to it, shall we?
Today we are in
wow,
York, England,
that's gorgeous.
the most medieval city in the world. The city is filled with history around every corner and really makes you feel like you are in the heart of a medieval town.
I was about to say, just stepping up on that little, like, all of this looks like just a trip back in time.
History around every corner and
yeah, like that. I mean, you got the spaces right there to where you take and be. Maybe I'm guessing maybe that was probably city walls at one point in time. I mean, that looks like battlements where you've taken, be able to see who's coming and, sling an arrow through or something. It's
really makes you feel like you are in the heart of a medieval town. Historic castles, foreboding sitting walls, narrow cobblestone paths, fascinating ruins,
that's gorgeous.
Grand churches, and more await you in this enchanting North England city. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Project Gaia. Today we are here in York, England. Now, York, England is one of the best preserved medieval cities in the world. So you're going to see a lot of medieval architecture, very small kind of meandering lanes going through some really old streets and blocks through here. And you're going to see some fascinating churches, castles,
cathedral there,
streets, walls. It really is a very cool place to see. So what we're going to do on this tour is we're going to show you the best things to do and see while you're here in New York. So let's begin. York is surrounded by walls, and there are several city gates like this one that permitted people inside and out of the city. It was a form of protection in ancient and medieval times, and today you still ceremoniously walk through these gates when entering the old city center.
Just gorgeous, dude.
York's story stretches back over 2 millennia and was founded by the Romans in 71 AD. It was known as Eboracum and served as the capital of the Roman province of Britain Inferior. The city played a crucial role in shaping England's destiny during the medieval period, as it became a key Viking settlement known as Jorvik in the 9th century, and most of the narrow streets are built on top of these ancient and medieval civilizations. York's history is a tapestry of Roman, Viking, medieval, and modern English influence, making it a captivating destination for history lovers. Walking through York is quite literally walking back in time and will leave you feeling in complete awe. So one thing you for sure have to check out when you're here in York is York Castle. So that's obvious.
That one house with the that's black and white, that looks very almost Victorian in styling. And if I'm not mistaken, it's actually another name for that. It escapes me at the moment, but it's very much, and just the narrowness of the alley in and of itself right there. But the fact that they've got so much of the old, but kind of like points, it's almost like it looks like a spot where you can mark history almost. in different points of time, which is fascinating.
Obviously behind me, York Castle is almost 1,000 years old. So this tower was constructed in 1069, and you go inside and you see a fabulously preserved early medieval castle, right? So it's very interesting. It has those big, thick stone walls. It has a bunch of cool little rooms in it, and you could head to the top and get amazing views of York. So let's head in. Clifford's Tower was originally built by William the Conqueror as part of York Castle in the 11th century. As you walk through the castle, notice the thick, impenetrable stone walls and centuries-old spiral staircases. Clifford's Tower has a long history, but the most infamous
Looks like a
event that
narrow
took place here
behind
was a mass suicide
stairway.
in 1190 when the Jewish community sought refuge inside the tower during anti-Semitic riots and ultimately set themselves on fire.
Oh,
Okay, are you ready to see the coolest bathroom ever? Let's head into this.
King's latrine. Oh, that's wow. Okay, long way for the poo to drop.
From the top of the tower, you get fantastic panoramic views of York and the surrounding countryside, so make sure you make the climb to the top.
That's pretty cool. That's beautiful.
So the city of York has an over 2,000-year-old history. So you're going to see that as you go around, right? So most of it is medieval, right? What you can visually see. But if you look at the walls around the city, you're going to be able to see that. For example, right here, right? So this here is part of the Roman walls. You can see the difference in the bricks. And then above here is the medieval walls. So when you're going around the city, take a look at that because it really helps you see the difference in times.
Dude, the architecture on all of this right up in here that we're seeing, but the fact that you can see remnants of the Roman wall buttressed against, and it kind of in the middle of ones that kind of wall that's made later, that's pretty freaking. That's cool.
Now, one place I recommend you have lunch between all of your sightseeing is the York Waterfront, and that's where we are now. So you walk along here, it's all cobblestone streets along the river, and there's tons of pubs and there's a lot of outdoor seating. So definitely, if it's a nice day, check this out. The York Waterfront along the River Ouse is a picturesque and vibrant area that adds to the city's charm. This waterfront has played a pivotal role in the city's history, serving as a vital trade route during the medieval period. Today it is more used as a drinking, eating, and recreation spot. Make sure you take a leisurely stroll along the promenade and take a boat tour if you have the time. The York Waterfront is a place where history meets contemporary life, making it a must-see for visitors. If you want to take a break on your adventure, stop into St. Mary's Church. The origins of the church can be traced back to the 11th century, and its impressive stained glass windows, intricate stonework, and serene interior provide a tranquil retreat from the hustle and bustle of York's medieval streets.
That's beautiful.
We are now at arguably the most interesting site in York. We are at the Shambles. Now, the Shambles is the arguably best preserved medieval street in the world. So what it is basically is a commercial corridor that goes right through the center of York, and it's just filled with all these really cool medieval stores, right? So if you're into Harry Potter's Diagon Alley was modeled after this, so it looks just like Diagon Alley. It's really cool to see. The Shambles is a truly enchanting.
That makes sense, because
that will quite literally.
that first little bit where they took and showed that. That's what I was thinking was Harry Potter type thing.
Word shamel, referring to the benches or stalls where butchers would display their meats. Make sure you stop into the shop that must not be named to harness your inner child and quite literally provide you with the Diagon Alley experience you've always wanted. Inside you will find tons of interesting and unique Harry Potter merchandise, as well as house-specific options. I got this Slytherin alumni hat.
Mark your broom. Okay. I mean, if it's based off of it, why not just, you know, it makes sense to take and have a store that plays it up, you know?
As you continue to explore the store, you can buy a wand specific to your personality, like an Ollivander's, and pick up a chocolate frog along with a famous Witch and Wizards card. This place is a Harry Potter fan's heaven on earth. The Shambles' narrow and cobblestone streets are flanked by leaning timber frame structures, seemingly pushing towards each other, creating a canyon in the street below. This creates a picturesque and almost fairy tale-like ambiance. The biggest craze in the Shambles these days is York Ghost Merchants. This store always has a line that is at least an hour long, and inside you can buy an ornamental ghost specifically made in York to fit your unique style and personality.
Not even gonna lie, fat boy likes to eat. I seen food court. Once building had the food court with the hand that took and pointed, and now we're seeing it looks like a fudge shop or, you know, a sweet shop. Bro, this fat boy, like the Harry Potter stuff, that's whatever. This though, this is more. That'd be more my speed right there. That and the food court. Not even going front, but it's just seeing like the historical value of the street itself and the cobblestone, and taking and seeing the way the different shops and stuff look. Just really, really cool to see.
The Shambles could get quite busy, and all the shops open around 10 a.m. If you want the Shambles completely to yourself, I'd recommend getting here before everything opens around 9 a.m. Right off of Little Shambles, there is a courtyard that serves as a sort of city market.
Oh, that's
Here
cool.
you can find everything from various merchandise, fruits and vegetables, meats, souvenirs, food carts, and more. This is the perfect place to stop and eat or to take a rest from the hustle and bustle of the main corridor.
See, for me, that's those shops look cool and stuff, and I would love to take and see some of them, especially like the sweet shop. But this right here, I'm sure something like this is served as a middle kind of gathering spot, probably throughout time, because every town and city has always had like a market to where people, you know, do commerce and stuff like that. The fact they've got one that's kind of in between, that's rung by all these buildings, that to me is one of the coolest aspects of all of this that we've seen thus far. Chocolatiers, see, told you. Ocean's Cauldron, what's in there? Sounds like a good name for a bar or pub. Oh, no, that's pretty cool.
If you want to try some of the best scones in the world, I recommend you check out Parlor Maid, located right on the Shambles. Have your morning coffee and scone from the 600-year-old attic as you peer down at the medieval shopping street below.
Oh, 600 years old, that's...
Next, check out the Society of Chemists. This sorcery-themed soap and fragrance store really is unique. It has a dark and edgy vibe, playing deep underground house music, and has some interestingly named soaps, perfumes, candles, and colognes like Dragon's Breath.
Embalming lotion? What the hell? I've seen that on that last bottle.
Viking lovers are going to love the Jorvik Viking Center. This museum teaches you all about York's Viking era history. The museum is actually built on top of the remains of a Viking archaeological site, and you can see the ruins in the basement. You begin the experience on a sort of amusement park ride where you glide through a recreated animatronic Viking village. The next part of the museum exhibits artifacts and remains found nearby from Jorvik, or York's Viking era past.
Okay, the Viking Museum is something that I definitely would love to see. And the fact that it's built on top of an old archaeological dig that way, and then it has a ride to take and kind of explain stuff. And you seen the woman that was there with the hammer that kind of hit like that right there to me. Outside the food stuff that we've seen, that to me would be one of the more interesting places to go to. See, the style of houses right there. I'm trying to remember what it's called because it's not Victorian. It's if I'm not mistaken, that predates the Victorian era. Just saying 15th century home, that definitely predates Tudor. That's what I was thinking. So the Tudor style is what I'm thinking. Which I knew it. It's just it was I had to refresh the memory because I'm like that predates. That's before Victorian era architecture. And there's a name for it. It's like not like an actual king or queen name, but like almost the house or the family, like the Tudors, is what I'm like, but I couldn't think of it. So okay.
Now, a must-see in York is the York City walls, which are behind me. You can see them down there, it goes for miles, right? So these are 2,000-year-old walls, right? So they started in the Roman era, and they were expanded in the medieval era. And basically what they do is they circumnavigate York. So you go, it's about 2 miles to go all the way around them, but there's a couple access gates. So you walk up to it, and it affords you beautiful views of York. And it really is amazing because you're kind of walking on the old city walls. You know, you can really experience what medieval people experienced when they were guarding the city. So let's head in.
The York City
You experience what they experienced minus the dysentery and
England encircle the historic center of York, stretching
maybe an
for
arrow
over 2
flying to the
miles.
knee.
They were originally built by the Romans in the 3rd century AD, and some of the Roman remains are still visible. Whether you're a history buff or simply seeking panoramic views, a walk on the walls provides a memorable experience and a sense of connection to the past.
So one thing to note about the York City walls, it is not ADA accessible, right? So wheelchairs are a no-go up here. Strollers are a no-go as well. Now, I have something called the yo-yo stroller, which is actually very popular in European countries, and it folds up and it works great along cobblestone streets. So what I did is I just folded mine up, and my daughter just walked along with me. So if you want to see the walls, you can't bring a stroller unless you have this one. I highly recommend the stroller. I have the link below the description, so check that out if you're interested.
Monk Bar is one of several city gate entrances used to enter and exit the city in medieval and Roman times. Each one of these gates have a fascinating history and can be used to access the York City walls. My favorite part of York is the enchanted energy of the city. Not many places in the world offer such an uninterrupted city center with original architecture and a lack of big box retail and restaurants. Walking around here is like walking in a storybook world, one that brings out the kid in you and makes you feel happy and warm. History is around every corner, and you can't help but
Constantine the
gawk at
Great.
city's beauty.
The Gothic, dude, the architecture on this is just, that's That's absolutely beautiful. There's no other way to put that's gorgeous.
Stonegate is another area that you should check out. This retail area is filled with unique stores and pubs, all within a medieval setting. This
Looks
is
like a D&D type
basically a
store.
less touristy and less crowded version of the Shambles.
Teddy bear shop.
So after seeing all of these historic buildings, you're probably interested in seeing what the inside of a medieval building looks like. Well, that's where you come here for. This is called Barley Hall, and it's behind me. So this is a home from the 1300s that was recently found and restored, and you go in and you learn all about life in the Middle Ages and what it was like to live in York during medieval times.
Yeah, that would be. Again, this is the
This
type of spot that's
beautifully
right up
restored-
my alley. Like, this is the type of place that outside of food that I would love to take and see, because we've got one of the neatest experiences that you can go to here in I live in South Carolina. I'm about 40 miles outside of Charleston, and everybody comes to Charleston. Most people go to the Battery, they go to Rainbow Road, they go to the old slave market, they go to the Provost Dungeon. They'll go see stuff maybe like Boone Hall Plantation or one of the other plantations that are around. A lot of people that come here don't go to Charlestown Landing, which is the original site of Charleston itself. That and one of the cool things about that, it's also one of the cool things is kind of, it's not to the extent they have it in at Charlestown Landing, but Boone Hall Plantation has a little bit of this. But like Charlestown Landing has, like they got somebody showing how they were taking. They've got people that show how they live. It almost looks like you step back in time when you take and go a visit there. But they've got somebody showed how they blacksmithing, and somebody taking and doing wool, and weaving and stuff like that. But also farming, and they kind of show the different aspects of life back in that at that time period. So seeing stuff like this for me is more interesting because it gives you that visual that sometimes that just reading a placard doesn't take and really do justice for. Now, granted, I'm not seeing any, even something like this, I'm not seeing anybody, but even something like this, just I don't know. To me, this is the coolest type of stuff to go see.
Townhouse offers visitors a captivating glimpse into the life and times of 15th century England. Originally built for a wealthy merchant, the hall showcases exquisite timber-framed architecture, authentic period furniture, and recreated interiors. The museum is also good for kids, as there are a variety of things they can play with to learn more about the history in a fun way. Barley Hall allows you to step into a medieval household and helps you to get better acquainted with and better understand York's rich
Okay, so this
medieval
seems like
heritage.
it's a bunch of placards, but still, all of the actual stuff that they have there is also pretty interesting.
Now, a must-see when you're here in York is York Minster, which is behind me. Now, this is the main cathedral in York, and this is something that you must see in life. It really is something that you should have on your bucket list because this is one of the greatest world cathedrals, right? So inside, it is fantastically beautiful. It has one of the best collections of stained glass windows on earth, and it really is a breathtaking experience. So you definitely have to check this out. So let's head in.
York Minster is one of the world's great cathedrals and serves as an amazing masterpiece of Gothic architecture. The magnificent cathedral has a history dating back over 1,000 years. Construction began in the 13th century and continued for several centuries, resulting in a masterpiece of unparalleled grandeur.
Absolutely gorgeous. That right there is just stunning.
Minster's stunning stained glass windows, including the famous Great East Window, are awe-inspiring. The intricate stone carvings throughout the cathedral are equally impressive and create a sense of sacred grandeur.
One of the things about the cathedrals like this, whether it's this one, or whether you look at some of the ones, look at some of the ancient ones from France, some of the medieval ones from France, whether it be the one that they found is from like the 4th century, or it be the one that's now surrounded by government buildings, Saint Chapel. The level of intricate uh, carvings, the work on the statues, and the breadth of the actual stained glass window and the stories that are told through it, but also the amount of work that went into it, like the craftsmanship. Nowadays, everything's done by CNC machines. It's done like the level of craftsmanship that you see in these is not something that would be easily, or I don't know if they could be replicatable at all. At least not without a 100-year build time. It's absolutely just it's amazing the just looking at the level of craftsmanship that existed back then.
York Minster remains the vital center of worship, offering daily religious services. Make sure you travel beneath the minster into the crypt, where you will find the tomb of Saint William, the patron saint of York.
Alright. Pretty cool.
So where we are now is St. Mary's Abbey. Now this is a Benedictine monastery from the 11th century, right? So this is almost 1,000 years old, right? It has a fascinating history, and what I find so great about it is it's like this ruin, but it's a park in the middle of York, and there's amazing gardens around it, and it's just something beautiful to see and really get up and close and personal with it. And I mean, look at this fine stonework. I mean, you just don't see things like this anymore, right?
No, you don't.
You know, there's kids playing on it and there's a garden around it. It's definitely something to see when you're here in York.
St. Mary's Abbey was founded in the 11th century and was one of the most powerful and influential abbeys in northern England. After the English Reformation, the abbey was dismantled and has been a romantic ruin for centuries. Its striking ruins now stand as a reminder of the abbey's historical and religious importance to the city of York.
Okay, everyone, that concludes our big tour of York, England. Now, York is one of my most favorite places in the world because of its famous medieval history and architecture. I mean, it really is an interesting place to see. Guys, if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like
Charleston, South Carolina, tour of the most beautiful city in the South. Might have to watch that one myself, but I'll recommend y'all take and also watch it as well. I highly recommend taking and going and looking at the channel once you've finished watching me yap over top of it. See, and whenever I was doing my live stream, York is one of the places that was brought up. All of this right here, like this is, I'm just going to be upfront and honest. I'm trying to take and get things squared away. The plan is to take and go over there for a month, maybe a month and a half. I'm trying to take and get that nailed down with the wife. I think she'll allow me to take and do maybe a month and a half. If I ask pretty please and real sweetly and everything of that nature. But really, if I can make it over there August, I can make it over there for the Manx GP, which is about 10 days worth between the practices and the actual racing itself. And that's very, very tempting. It'd be a good chunk of my visit, but, you know, that's 10 days in the Isle of Man. It's not for the TT, but it would be the Manx GP, which you get to see. So yeah, if I'm able to pull it off, that might be the way I take and do things, 10 days there. However, regardless, I think York is definitely on the list. I think it has to be. Just looking at this, this is the type of stuff I would love to experience for myself. These are the types of buildings that I would love to take and see. I'd love to take and see the cathedral. It's just the Gothic architecture of it in and of itself and the inside, the beauty of it, taking and seeing this, because there's so many things that you can take and you can watch a video on, but the magnitude of what you're seeing and the there's times there's things that cameras don't do justice for, and I think that's probably one of those things. Same thing as we've seen brief glimpses of the wall that surrounds the city. Again, I think that's one of those things that you're not going to take and get a full appreciation for just watching the video. So there's York is on the list. York will be one of the places I do go, just so I can see it, not only some of the historical aspects of the town in and of itself and seeing the architecture, but also like some of those like chocolatier and the candy stores look pretty cool. So just throwing that out there. Fat boy likes to eat. It definitely looks like some tasty places to have around there. So hey, it all works out. Definitely, it's a good video. Go check out the original channel. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.